Hello, Warrior TV. Steve Knapp, the Mindset Warrior, here with our latest episode of the Power Hour of Mindfulness. And tonight I have the most amazing special guest. She's a phenomenal lady that I had the absolute pleasure of getting up bright and early and interviewing probably about a month, 6 weeks ago. And she just blew me away with her passion and her story and her love and zest for life. And I've been super excited counting down the time to be able to bring her back onto the show. And tonight's the time. We've got a bit of a role reversal. Instead of 5:30 a.m. at my time, it's 5:30 for my lovely guest, Camille. And I'll just do a quick countdown and we'll bring her on. We'll see you shortly. Camille, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Good morning. How are you? And good evening.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching wherever you are in the world.
Yes.
Look at that beaming smile. It's so good to see your face again, Camille. I know we went for an hour last time and we just didn't even get close to all the amazing stories you have to tell and all the amazing things you've done in your life. So it's so good to have the opportunity to discuss a whole lot of new stuff again, and we might even brush over a few of the same things. It doesn't matter as long as it's all magical.
Sure. No, I have no problem discussing anything. I'm really open-minded. And I want to thank you, Steve, for having me back because it's really special. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. I've been excited about this since we set the date. So I've been waiting very, very excitedly. Like it's almost like my Christmas day all over again.
Well, yesterday I went out on a blanket that was Christmas berries and holly, and I did my meditation outside in front of my backyard. Oh my gosh, it was so lovely. I really, really felt the lifting and the spirit and the surrounding of the energy. It was just really, really heavenly. You know,
I love it. That is so nice. And we've already got Kerry and Adam watching us. They're tuning in. Thanks for jumping on, Kerry and Adam. And how important do you find that getting outside for your meditations and like to sort of get that real feeling of settling into being present and calm and peaceful?
Yeah, I don't get out and outdoors enough. I really am a nature girl, but I'm from the city. It's all okay, but I just absolutely love nature, spirit, and all the signs and symbols that come from, our creator that is in every lesson, every message is a teaching moment. And there are so many of them if we're aware and we're open and we use all our senses, even the sixth, because we're ascending now. We truly are.
I love that.
Yeah, but I don't get out enough. I do it mostly at this desk, my meditations. But I'm going to start.
I think that's a great idea because I'm the same. I tend to be at my desk when I do my meditations as well. But yeah. I think there's a lot of power. I think because I get easily distracted. So when I'm outside, I tend to just drift off into what noises I'm hearing around me.
Oh, are you in the city?
No, I'm rural, but I still get quite a bit of passing traffic and a lot of birds and dogs and there's a lot of animals.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. I can do open eye meditation and just be calm and peaceful getting around in nature.
That's fantastic because that's even more difficult to keep it open-eyed and keep it significant and, in that, zone of meditation.
Yeah. It's just all learning, isn't it? It's just learning lessons and practice and keep practicing some more until you keep getting better at it and you can dominate anything.
Yes, it is. It's lovely. I have some really good meditation teacher. His name is Ravi Walsh, and he's really he's of the Eastern philosophy more so. And he's really a wonderful guy, very generous. And so I've been doing some meditation with him these past 2 weeks, every morning in a row. So I'll
wow.
do them after here.
Wow, that's great. Oh, and we've got the lovely Kate Taylor's joining us as well. She's in the comments saying hello. Kate's amazing. We love her.
Good morning, Kate.
How do you find meditation helps with your mindfulness? Do you find it very calming and soothing? Is that what gets you to be in a present state of mind?
I do, but I haven't been a full-time meditator. So I am a lot in my mind, but when I meditate, it begins the day in a most beautiful way. It's very special to meditate. And even if it's a short meditation or an imagery meditation, or just connecting with, the sage and beginning with a prayer to start your day. I have a ritual of lighting candles and, because that's my Catholic beginnings. And I like to do that. And then I send them up to the ethers in the heavens, all my prayers. And I like to put a golden glow around the globe and may each heart feel the joy of the energy that we have available to us.
That is so beautiful.
Oh,
Just that passion and aura you have about you when you talk about this stuff, it's just phenomenal. You just radiate. It's absolutely brilliant.
You. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I enjoy it. I've had a lot of experience growing up very religious, then transferring over to a more Catholic, outside of the Catholic faith a little bit, and then going back to my roots and all of it. And it's just growing exponentially all the time. And I'm so grateful for that.
Brilliant. I think what I know from a bit of your story that we've touched on before, there's a lot of your life's been about a bit of a rebirth and going full circle and going through a lot and coming back to your roots and your core and your loves and your passions. Is that still going on for you?
Yeah, I'm really in the passion of being fully aligned with spirit now. And when I said, I think the last time, I'm not sure if I mentioned that I knew exactly where I was on the street in my area at the light when I said everything that I'm having is about, God and Jesus. And I said, I better stop practicing and believing. And like I said, everything got worse. And it's not a good thing to do. So I guess more of the shadow comes in. But it was years later that I really did pick up shadow parts of me. But that's so because you come from, experiencing and being so good and then going down to the very depths of, really not a place, and then kind of like the phoenix rising up again, where you can go so low, either with depression or, having been in the hospital like I was. And but when I was in the hospital, it was a very interesting aspect. I gave up my medication because I was angry, and I was really angry, and I just said, I'm just not taking it anymore. The doctor that I was going to, he was a little sarcastic, and I didn't really like him too much. I mean, he's a good man, knows his stuff, but he didn't get me, And so I was so angry. I said, I'm going to give it up. And I weaned myself off very slowly, like you're supposed to. And then I had a beautiful voice in my ear. and it was like a communication with a guide and spirit. It was lovely the whole month that I was there, but it got to a point where it got a little, not the voice, but not being on the medicine was very difficult for me to transition.
Yeah.
And the voice was very graceful and beautiful. It was a feminine energy voice, and she guided me the whole month through a difficult time. So this one particular weekend was, it was just too much for words. And on the last straw, I took 13 0.5 milligrams of clonazepam, but it wasn't a lethal dose or anything.
Yeah, geez.
Excuse me. So I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I said, if you're going to do it right, I woke up out of my sleep. You would think I would have slept through
Yeah.
clonazepam because it's a sleepy kind of medicine. And I woke up and I said, if you're going to, I don't know who said it. If she said it, I don't think spirit would do this. But I heard, if you're going to do it right, do it right. And I went into my bathroom. I proceeded to go in, take every pill that was in my cabinet, take every pill that was in the trash that was left over. And then I got scared. I thought I was really going to die. So I wrote a note, and that the next morning I aged my parents 15 years in a day because they came down. They got a call that I didn't go to work, and I was living in the basement apartment in my parents' house, and they came down, and there was the note, and there was the fire department, the police were there. It was a big experience, and I wound up in the hospital, and I really didn't mean to take my life. So the funny part is, though, they wanted my insurance information, and they needed my social security, and no one knew it. My mother said, I'll get her up and get it. And he said, there's no way you're getting this woman up. She's, overdosed. So she kept saying, Camille, what's your social security number? And after a little bit, I woke up and I just rattled it right off. And I went back down. I didn't even know where I was. I had charcoal all over my mouth. And I didn't know that, but she got it out of me. And and I ended up taking the medicine with a lot of people instructing me, just take the medicine, because they don't let you leave in a lockup ward unless you're medicated. So I finally gave in, and the voice changed. It got garbled. It was male, and then it disappeared. And I haven't ever yet gotten it back. And I'm hoping one day that I will. And
Yeah.
I had a visit from, I'm not sure if it was a guide, an angel, but I'll tell you the story. He had a John Travolta white suit on, and he was of Indian descent. And before I even saw him, I felt like I was approaching someone. And I looked down the hall, and there he was in a dark hall. And I went down the hall because he beckoned me to come. I went down the hall, and instead of sitting next to him, he was on a red sofa and white patent leather shoes. And I knelt down before him, and he just said to me, he asked me questions about why I didn't take the medicine. And I told him I hear this voice. And dancing is a Sanskrit word. And it took me 3 months after I got out of the hospital to look up the word samadhi. And it is communication with a higher being. And, it was just, and then I walked down the hall, and I went to turn back to say goodbye. He was gone. And there was no exit from where he was. And it was a long corridor. And I said, oh my gosh, it didn't even faze me at the time. But later on, thinking back in hindsight, I said, maybe it was someone really, really special that came to tell me that. I know it sounds a little goofy and crazy, but it's the truth.
No, it's amazing. That is amazing.
It was a pretty amazing time. But that's when I was diagnosed as schizoaffective manic depressive. That's the
Yeah,
latest. But I don't really feel that I am.
it's a mouthful, isn't
No,
it? It's hard just to say it,
I
let alone
know
live
it's a
it.
mouthful.
It just shows how far you've come, doesn't it? Like,
It does. Yeah. And that was in 2005, I remember. And then
yeah,
after that, it still got bad. It still got worse and then got so much better. I think about 2012 was when I really started to come into my own about really picking up the spirituality again and
yeah,
meditating imagery and beginning it all again. And it hasn't stopped since, really.
yeah. So did you find, like, when that transformation started at that time, was it just a gradual kind of shift, like
No,
back
it
to
was,
being spiritual, or was it really like a rapid sort of change and you got
no,
right back into all of it?
I guess it was more evolving and
Yeah,
growing and exploring and just really I had to open my heart to it because at the time I didn't know anything about chakras and
yeah,
I was more Catholic oriented and they don't believe in the Eastern philosophy. It was when I was in college in the 80s that I first was open to it, but then I never followed and pursued it. One time, one of the women asked me, "Do you want to take yoga? I think you'd be really good at it." I said, "Oh, that's not for me because that's for people who are like so blessed, and I didn't feel comfortable enough, feeling good enough. My self image was still poor at that time. So I wouldn't take it." And she said, "Okay, but it would have benefited me then." But I guess it wasn't meant to have been then. But I took it later on, yoga, and I used to love taking it. So I haven't begun again since my surgical procedure and everything, but I am going to begin again.
yeah. I have no doubt. Every time you set your mind on something, it just seems to happen. I'll be
Yeah.
sure you'll be in it very soon. And Kate's commented and said, "Wow, what a story! So amazing." Yeah, you're spot on, Kate. And that's one of many. Camille has stories that are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and they'll keep coming for the next 45 minutes or so, I guarantee. Oh, and we've got a question coming through from the Mental Health
Oh,
Warriors.
sure.
It says, Camille, your passion is spiritual. So when you were triggered, what did you do spiritually to bring you positive again?
Uh, well, I began to pray first and ask to be open. We broke up a little bit, so I hope the question. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I sounded like I was echoing and stuff.
Yeah.
It was your passion is spiritual. So when you were triggered, what did you do spiritually to bring you back to a positive frame?
It was more with prayer. I began to go to church again. So first it was my Catholic roots, but where I part from Catholicism a little bit is the Trinity. It's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and it used to be called the Ghost. And what I found was, and I had, since I'm here in South Carolina, we had a very wonderful priest here, and I went to the 6 weeks of sessions that he spoke about from the beginning of time with the church throughout a thread. And I went up to him. I was embarrassed to ask him in front of everybody because everybody was raising their hands, asking questions out loud. And I said to him, uh, do you think this is where I parted? Because I think the Holy Spirit is the feminine energy of the Trinity. That's the mystery. And he said, "Oh, we don't believe that." He was very nice about it. And I said, "Well, isn't the church changing?" He said, "Well, we are changing, but that's not what we believe." But that's where
We're
I
not quite
parted.
changing that much.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, he said we're changing, but we're not quite changing that much. We'll
No,
stick
not
to a
there.
certain direction.
Not there yet, I feel. But it is the feminine century. The 21st century is the feminine energy century. And I think it just makes logical sense to me that if it's father, son, daughter, and spirit, it's just got to be equally balanced to have the masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, you'd think
like
that
yin yang.
a father would then have a maternal side to bring it all together into the one dimension.
Yes.
It makes perfect logical sense.
To me, it does. That's why I believed in reincarnation when I was a kid. My girlfriend's older sister said, let me read this to you, Camille, and I'm just curious about what your opinion is. And so she read a paragraph or three, and it was talking about reincarnation, about the cocoon and turning into the butterfly and the caterpillar and the whole blossoming of a soul. And so I said, that I'm not a very logical person, but that makes a whole lot of sense because, in one lifetime, can we be, I know a lot of religions and believe that, like Taoism believes only one lifetime, Catholicism believes only one lifetime, lots, Christianity on a whole. But how many lifetimes do you need to really make that cocoon blossom into the butterfly? There's a lot of lessons to learn in this place.
And a lifetime is so short. It is so short, realistically. Like, God, you hit middle age and you feel like you haven't been anywhere yet. It's like, God, there's so much
I know.
to learn.
Absolutely.
It took me to 40 to start broadening the horizons into all the amazing stuff that's out there that I just missed in the first part of my life. Now it's just being so open to all the different options and alternatives, and I think having that open-mindedness, just to be willing to have a look at everything and not sort of discount it with any predetermined beliefs or thoughts. Just, I love to hear a story and see. Then I'll make up my mind if it's for me or not, but just throw them at me so I know what's going on in the world.
That's exactly right. You have to come from an open heart and lead with the heart and, of course, use your mind and, be in the most high place we can, and then it all comes and fills. I think we're skipping or frozen.
Yeah, just froze for a minute, but I think
Steve,
you're back.
frozen. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now, yeah. It was saying your mic was muted for a second, but now you're good.
Okay, great.
It was good though, because while we were having some technical difficulties, we had some good comments coming through. A great friend of mine, Melissa Christie's, jumped on. She said hello and then said, "Such an interesting topic of reincarnation of the butterfly. It's beautiful." And then Kate said, "So true. Lead with an open heart and spirit." So yeah. The ladies are definitely on the same page as you, Camille. They're thinking along the same lines.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the comments. And I don't know where to go from here, but there's lots of things that I could discuss.
We've got another question. Another question from Adam. He's asking you, what's the difference between a spiritual mindset and a mental mindset?
Let me think about that for a moment.
He always likes to throw tricky ones at us where we have to think outside the box.
Well, I think the spiritual mindset is part of quieting the mind and just going with the flow of understanding. And it's more, the mind, of course, is controls so much. We don't know nearly enough about the brain. I think it's not been for years that we've studied, and it's the most important aspect of the human condition, because it does things automatically for us. And there's the right left hemisphere, and it's just everything working in order so beautifully, how God created the human vessel. And
Yes.
we are a vessel, we are spirit in a physical body. That's what I believe. And it just all comes together once we are in alignment. It's the dynamics of us are incredible. We are such beautiful, unique beings, but we don't see that often enough.
No, I think a lot of that is getting caught up in the mental mindset side of things when you sort of don't know how to break states and patterns and cycles, and you get yourself caught up in the repeating of the negative beliefs and things. You just lose out on all the beautiful abundance that's around us. That just, it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't have to. It's just amazing how it just flows, and we flow with everything around us as being not just being a solid state of matter or mass.
Right. It's the gratitude. And once we open to gratitude and happiness and joy, I think really that's what our creator wants for us, because the universe is such a friendly, giving, loving, and it's as wide as the ocean is how much we have available to us. It's as broad and big and expansive. It's a never ending supply of love. And that's what I think our creator is. When I was not well and opening up my spirituality in what I thought was, I thought, I don't mind saying it anymore because it's going to be in my book. I thought I was the feminine energy of the Christ centered, reincarnated Christ in the feminine form, to hear it to serve and save the world. And then it went over the top, and it was a little bit out of, and there's that fine line. And it was like as if I knew everything that was happening, but then I didn't trust anything that was happening.
Yeah.
But I think we're having a breakup again. Are we or not? Connection. Can you hear me?
I can still hear you fine. Yeah, it was a bit funny
Good.
for a second, but I can still hear you.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, but I was expanding, I was opening, and in the 80s, I had so many things happen. As a matter of fact, I had a dream in 81 was a fantastic year for my opening up in my spiritual aspect. And I had a dream it was a raging storm in the middle of the darkened night, and I was in a boat with a yellow slickered figure. He had a rain hat on, he had a slicker on, and he was wheeling the boat at the helm. And he said, well, he didn't even say a word throughout the dream. He just gestured me to take the helm of the boat. And I remember still how in an elongated state, I said, no, I can hear that still in my heart. And he gestured his arm out to the ocean. And what I saw were ghost-like horror faces, all their arms raised, looking for help to get back in the boat. They were drowning.
Wow.
And and I woke up and my hands were like this. And I said, oh Lord, if I never believed before, I know it now. But then life happened, and it wasn't till 10 years later, exactly in 91, that I found that journal, opened to that page immediately, and said, oh my gosh, that was an incredible dream. Why didn't I do more about it then? But there was only so much one can do to
There
try and
is.
save anyone else but yourself.
Yeah, well, I suppose you've got to save yourself first before you
Of
can move on to
course.
saving others, don't you? It's an inside job. Start at home and then move your way out and help as many
Mm,
people as you can.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's why I want to have my coursework now, because I've always wanted to serve people. And now I really feel that, coming from my mess of all the negativity of life, and the low and the highs and the manic and depressive, um, uh, I can share my message, and it'll be magical for others to transform. I really
Definitely.
truly believe that.
I
So
believe
I'm a slow
totally.
go at it, but it's coming along. And I think I don't want to put a date on it, because I don't know exactly when it'll happen. But I think by the new year in 2022, because I'm already looking toward that. I hope we all are, because boy,
Yes.
the rest of the 3 months are going to go very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Very quickly.
Yes.
And we've got Melissa just said, such a beautiful dream. Thank you for sharing. And she also had a great question just a bit earlier that said, how do you view the connection of masculine, feminine energy in relation to our soul?
Oh, well, I think it's got to be balanced and harmonized. They're in the male men. uh it needs to have a feminine energy of give and take, and then women. And I know I have more feminine energy than masculine energy, so I have to up my assertiveness and all the practicalities of what masculine energy can be. But it should be fully aligned, and at least a 60/40, 70, I don't know, but it should be 50,
As close as possible.
as close as possible to 100%, and
Yes.
always give 110%.
Yeah, so 55 and 55.
Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, it's surprisingly enough, I know it probably doesn't make sense to people that don't look at this, looking at a middle-aged man with a shaved head and a beard, but I actually have more feminine energy than masculine energy myself. I'm probably balancing about 60-40, feminine being the more dominant side. So I'm the same, trying to have to work on bringing that balance a bit more into that equilibrium and having it more in alignment.
well, Mars is working with you, because the warrior of Mars, which is the masculine planet, that old book. I don't remember the title. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
I forgot the author. I apologize. And it's really true. There are aspects of the male dominant that are more aggressive instead of assertive. There are, balancing words that oppose it and are opposite, but just in a small way.
Yeah.
Like many women, much more feminine, and then they need that assertiveness, that practicality, that masculine energy, like boundaries. I have such a difficult time with boundaries. I never learned from my parents boundaries, and it's been that's a very bad thing on this earth, to not bound yourself and protect yourself, because you can get into a very easily. I'm not naive or anything, because I'm from New York. I always say that. But
Yeah, yeah. It's not
one of the
possible.
toughest towns around. And what are the song? If you can't make it in New York, you're not going to make it anywhere. But I've always felt that boundaries and saying no, because I guess I was a people pleaser before, and it's not,
Guilty.
yeah, it's not the best way to be, because it's first and foremost the self, working on the self before you can help others.
Yeah, I found that was the biggest problem with like the people pleasing days, is that you are, every time you're bending over backwards to please someone, you're taking away that part of you and part of your strength, and you are eliminating that boundary. You're just saying, you can come in and take whatever you want from me as you please, because I don't have that boundary in place to say, no, I actually have important time for myself right now to be doing something. There's a bit too much give and not enough take, isn't there? And it sort of throws out your balance altogether.
Yeah. But it comes from, I guess, before, early on, whatever makes your boundary, happen. It's just a particular kind of personality, that the makeup of you. Because I know I was twice abused as a child, and they said keep it secret, and of course I listened, and I never spoke up. Now we speak openly about, to children, about being touched in a certain way or not feeling comfortable with the energy of someone and strangers. But it wasn't in the generation when I was young. And so at 6 and 10, there was, abusiveness. But, and that took a long time to get beyond. And then I was bullied by a little girl. And oh my gosh, I was in first grade. She used to say to me, name all the capitals of the United States. And I was like, I don't know them. And then she locked me in a furnace, with a coal furnace.
Oh, God.
It felt like forever that I was there. And she was just acting out from being, I guess, I don't know exactly what the emotion was that she was experiencing. But luckily, I'm a very forgiving person, and it was more me that I didn't forgive, and you've got to go through that as well. Be forgiving to yourself first and foremost, too.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to acknowledge that, people aren't their behaviors. The
Yeah.
way it can be any moment, it could be anything that's that's affecting them. They are not at their core their actual behaviors or their words. So it's always good to remember that when you are looking to be able to forgive someone too, isn't it? It's not.
Yes. They're in a bad space and place too, so they're coming at you from a mindset that is not whole and healthy. So they just take it out on someone else in a sense, or take advantage, or there's many ways of even people who are manipulating. That's something I never understood, how people can manipulate other people. And I don't have much of comparison or competitive energy. And I think that's a feminine quality, to not be more I don't know. There are plenty of women who are competitive, but I'm not one of them. So I need to have a little bit of that to drive me for motivation.
I can lend you some of that. I've got that's the majority of my masculine side. I am super competitive, being a sports coach, and I've played a lot of sport as well. Yeah, competition. I thrive on competition.
Yeah. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Steve.
That's all right.
Sports, you're competitive?
Yeah. I've coached a lot of junior sports, and I've played a heap of sports over 30 years. So it's sort of, drawn the competitive juices out of me quite a lot.
Of course.
But
it's normal.
In a positive way. Like
it's
especially
normal.
With the coaching, I work a lot on because they're younger girls, they're 13 to 15. So it's more working on how they think about what's going on and what they're gaining and what they're bringing and what they can learn from each other. above scoreboards and that sort of thing. So competitive without necessarily having to win on the scoreboard, but win on a
Right.
personal level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important for women to have that little bit of a mindset and energy within them. Maybe not extreme, but it's important in life, in this world. It's such a, and it's getting faster, more furiously competitive and needed to have those skills in a good way,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I wanted to touch on quickly because
Sure.
we missed out last time,
What's
but
that?
we've got to hear about your book. We've got to hear about your
Oh,
memoirs you're going through. I reckon it's going to be the most amazing read of all time.
I'm hoping so. I really always wanted to write a book of substance, from that dream that I had about writing the book. I told you that the last time.
Yeah, yeah,
And when I woke up, I said, it's got to be a book of substance. After I got over the yeah, I'll write it, But actually, yesterday, was it yesterday? The 4th, 2 days ago, was actually 40 years because I found it on the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. It was a Sunday in 81. And I looked it up on, on Google, and I said, "Oh my God, I found it on St. Francis's Day," and that's one of my favorite saints. But anyway, um, but anyway, it's 40 years, so this book has got to have something of substance. I want to write my transformation of fear to fearless. There was a time when I was kind of like in a self-loathing because the belief of being, the Catholic attitude came back very strongly when I took the medication after not sleeping and eating and all that over the top stuff. And I said, "Oh my Lord." I said, "How could I think I was the reincarnated Christ, And I went into self-loathing. I started punishing myself with food. And I went up to 205 pounds. I never looked in the mirror anymore. I was so, I don't know what the word exactly is, embarrassed, mortified, shamed, guilty, all those negatives. So what I want to do in the book is bring that about, maybe not necessarily talk about, all of that, but being fear and all the low energy, vibrational energies, and then coming out through beyond, the darkness of all of that negativity.
yeah, yeah. Getting back to the phoenix rising from the
It's the
ashes.
archetypes in a way. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But it's all beneficial because I really feel there are a lot of women and men eventually. Like I had huge dreams, and what I wanted to. Oh, and I'm an LLC now. I'm a limited
Oh,
liability company, and I'm so
brilliant.
excited. And I have an ID number with our United States tax people. So I'm a legitimate
Yeah,
company, and my title of my company is Sand Dollar Expressions, and I want it to
yeah,
be the overhead, and I want to build. Uh, I want to leave a legacy of spirit behind, and I only have X amount of years because we have a finite date when we're brought back up above. So I really want to begin with a women's circle, and the book will only enhance it. I mean, I can think of a book about Yo Big, but I can't do that because I
that's
want,
chapter one.
but I have a lot of stories and I have a lot, but it's not about me. It will be about the transformation of me, but to help others, to let them see themselves through me.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
Melissa said, just back to where we were before, Melissa said boundaries can be perceived as a masculine energy when standing in your power can be more prominent.
That's a very truthful statement.
I think you and Melissa would get on like an absolute house on fire.
Oh
You're
my gosh.
you're very similar. You've got a lot of similar understandings. You're both amazing. I think, yeah, I'll definitely have to connect you guys after we're done because, yeah, she's amazing and you'd get on great.
Thank you. That would be super. Adam connected me with one of his guests that is a psychic medium and a channel and does tarot. And I do that as well. And so I'm really blossoming to a lot of new growth and superpower.
Yes.
It's so cool.
I love that. That is awesome.
Oh, and
There's
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying there's so much good stuff, isn't there? Like there's too much to try to learn, like all these amazing things that are out there. Like you can you could be
Oh, and I
living
got
another
some
lifetime.
feedback on the pineapple pizza. My
Ah.
family out in West said, we love pineapple on pizza. I said, you're kidding.
Well, I can't interview them then.
Well, I said, maybe then I would try it once. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would like it, but you never know. There are combinations in food that are so silly and strange, and yet they're good.
Even though I don't like it, I still have it on. There's one particular type of pizza I have that has pineapple on it, and I will have it, but only if it's minuscule compared to what's the majority of what's on the slice. It can't be
I don't want a large big pineapple, but I guess little chunks here there might be a different flavor and taste.
Yeah, and I knew Kerry would be straight onto it. Yeah, you should try pineapple on pizza. It's lovely. That's Kerry's. She absolutely loves it.
Excellent. So
Although then Adam says that pineapple needs to be scrapped and destroyed altogether. So
pineapple is one of my favorite fruits.
Just not a pizza topping.
Not a pizza topping, but like I said, I would try it and give it a go.
Yeah, open-mindedness. And Adam said, when I see potential for growth, I connect to the right people and look, it's awesome. So true.
Yeah.
Oh, and Melissa asked, do you have a title for the book yet? Do you know what your book will be called?
I am in a working title. At one point, there was Al Cooper. He was a singer from many years ago, and alone. But then I don't know if I want that, but it just kind of like came into my head because the song was there and it's not available any longer. It's out of print of musical arena. Anyway, so I was thinking, I stand alone, the light and shadow of a feminine soul.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, because like I said, I have a huge mess in my past, and it's the message that I want to share. And I really, truly believe in the end, in the transformation that I will go through the book writing as well when I help transform others. It's magical because life is magical. I mean, some people believe we're here right on heaven, and if we notice all the beauty, it is a heaven.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's just how we look at things, isn't it? And just taking the time to realize the magic that's surrounding us all the time.
Yeah.
So
but
lucky.
It takes a team. It takes a team. And so that's why I'm not sure I'm going to put I stand alone, because I feel like I'm supported by, spirit, the whole world when you're so blessed, which is how I feel. So I don't really know if that's a proper title yet. But sometimes
sounds close.
Sometimes the titles come last.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I always
that,
wanted to name it the Sand Dollar Shell because that was the
yeah,
essence of everything that went beyond and past growing up and through my life.
yeah,
So, you know, another title at one time was The Drowning Souls of All the Worlds because of the dream that I had. But that's
yeah,
such a negative connotation. I
yeah.
didn't want to do it.
Bit too down, that one.
Yeah. We don't want anyone to perceive that, we're all drowning here.
Yeah, yeah,
We want it on a positive, upbeat. And then once I wanted to do Sun in Pisces, rising Aries, because that's my Pisces is my sun sign and Aries is my rising sign. So
ah,
Aries rising uh in a Pisces, I don't know. It was just a thought at one time. But
there's so
I brainstormed about a page and a half of titles, so you know.
that's, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I think half of the value in writing something, it's like just a super extension of journaling, because you're
Mhm.
going through and you're getting so much down out of your head and onto paper, going through the course of trying to come up with a whole book that encompasses a lifetime, that you
Yes.
get so much out of that transferring that energy onto the page that you just can't go wrong.
No, my issue with always writing was, the small self of me, the ego mind that kept saying everything. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Oh, how could I write that? It sounds terrible. And I was always very self-critical. But now it's not going to be that way any longer.
Now,
So
I think you've nailed that.
yeah, I have nailed it. Yeah. I mean, it's for me, sometimes I'm on like a little bit of a wavy road, but I know the ripple effect that will come from it will be a good thing. So it's my mission. God won't take me home until I write that book.
That's, and Adam said the mental health warriors really need to get a copy of this book when it's done.
Oh, yes. I would love to share it and let you all know when it's done. I'm looking at a date of my birthday, March 11, because that's 6 months' time from,
Perfect.
September, October, almost 6 months. I really want to push it to that point where I
Yeah,
can, yeah,
that'd be brilliant.
I hope so. Yes. Thank you.
Uh, I think it's New York Times bestseller stuff coming up. I'm feeling it.
Oh, that's what I dream in. I'm manifesting that.
Yeah, I'll
I
do
want
it
I
with you.
wanna
Putting that out
thank
there into the
you.
universe.
People who have so much to give and share and let others know, when you reach a point of understanding more so, you can give away so much value to others.
That is so true. It is
Yeah.
so true. And coming from that place where you want to give that value, you get so much more back from what you give in that space, and being able to draw back on the really difficult times, and share the transformations and tools and things that got you through, and lifted you up when you
Yes.
think that there's not a possibility of that ever happening. That's the stuff that's so worth giving. It's worth its weight in gold.
Oh yeah, you can't even value it, how much uh giving that would be for others and for our future generations. That's why I feel I want to leave a legacy of spirit because the generations to come, even though I don't have children, the generations to come, I hope the book is that successful that, people will pick apart and those that have the mindset and the scientific and the behavioral look at the brain and really study it, uh,
Yeah,
pick out all the necessary, important, valuable information to share.
Yeah.
I really am ready to write a second and third book.
That's what we like to hear.
Once
Yeah.
I get the hang of writing it once, I mean, I can rinse and repeat it like they do in business.
Definitely. You could have a whole series. We could fill a bookcase by the time you're done. That'd be perfect.
Thank you. That would be lovely. Wow. That's even
That
more
would be
than I'm
perfect.
manifesting in.
That's all right. Oh, so how much more powerful is it with both of us manifesting it at once?
Oh my Lord, that would be exciting. Thank you, Steve. That's very generous.
And you've got to go a little bit higher in your chair just so everyone can see that awesome shirt you're wearing.
Oh yeah.
Manifest
hold on, I gotta go
happiness.
here.
I
Manifest
love
happiness.
it.
I
I
don't
love it.
often buy things that read on me, but this is something that's well worth. I get backwards with the camera, but there it is.
Yeah.
Manifest happiness, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
what we have
brilliant.
to do. Manifest the most happy place we can be in our state of grace.
I think so too. Just
Yeah.
the more we can put that happy energy out there and raise the vibration of the people that we're around and are listening to us, it changes the game, and it can really alleviate people's struggles when they have that little bit more of an upbeat energy around them. It just automatically lifts everyone else as well, I reckon.
I hope they see that it's a better frame of mind to be positive, because I feel like I'm at polar ends of both, to have come full circle, to be so down and out, almost in an addictive state, not almost, in an addictive state, and coming out from that, and just letting everything go into Mother Earth, letting all that because we have to live in the now. We have to forgive ourselves for everything in our past, and let the energy be taken by Mother Earth, and let her express it and expel it somewhere into the ethers again, talking about that, and just go forward, and be in the moment, live in the happiness of where you are, listening, observing, doing, being, and look forward to a manifested beautiful future. And the universe wants us to have that, and God wants us to have whatever we call that supreme being.
Yeah. Everything around us wants that. Everything
Yeah.
at a higher level wants us to have the most magically beautiful life imaginable.
And even if you're agnostic or atheist, as you're a person and you live the value, respect others as you would like respected back toward you, that reciprocal energy, it's all good.
Yeah, you can look at it from whatever way your beliefs shape. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a god or anything. Wherever you feel that higher power, whatever it is fine.
Yeah, because we want an inclusive world, because we are one soul body. Gary Zukov, The Seed of the Soul, I read one or two of his books, and he said we're like a spaceship of soul moving through and around, and we're all one for it's, the race is the face of everyone.
Yes. Yeah, it's just all of us being in that one zone, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Adam's commented he's quite happy that his birthday's only 3 days after yours, so you're very close.
I love it.
And he's also said, I have a feeling Camille want to come on our show again.
I would love to. If you have me, I will enjoy it and share more funny stories. I can tell you a funny story. One time, one of my bosses gave me a gift certificate at one of the really nice Manhattan stores, Bloomingdale's or Saks, I don't know where. And I wanted something really special. So I love sunglasses. So I bought, with the expensive gift certificate, I bought the sunglasses. and I put one of those, kind of old fashioned kind of things so that they wouldn't fall and they'd stay there so I could
Yeah.
flip it off. So no one in New York waits for a train. We all look for the train, and so I was getting late for work and I'm looking for the train. I'm looking for the train. All of a sudden, my sunglasses slipped off the chain and went
Oh,
onto the tracks. And my first reaction, because they were so expensive, I grabbed this guy's arm. I said, "Do you know how much those glasses cost me?" And all of a sudden, before I knew it, and I said, "No, don't do it." He went down in the track and got them. I
oh,
was so frightened for him, but no
oh,
train was coming. And he walked up the subway step at the end because we happened to be at the first car of the
yeah,
subway car. And and then I wanted to give him a gift of some, like a $10 bill or something, but
yeah.
he was gone before I could even say thank you. He handed me
Wow.
the glasses, and he was gone. I don't know where he ever went. I don't know who he is. I would love to
Whoa.
thank him. It
Never
was,
know. He could be watching. He could be
I
watching
hope
us.
so. Yeah. So it was the funniest thing. I went into work, and of course, I was telling everybody,
Yeah,
'cause that's the way I am.
I love that. That is a brilliant story for us to wrap up
It's a
an
funny one. So
hour.
only
That
in
is
New York,
only,
well, in any big city that could happen. But Spirit has a sense of humor. That's the big thing.
definitely.
Spirit is always so funny. They're always teasing. And, like I think I've gotten my car towed 5 times in Manhattan. And
Wow.
it's because I can't read the sign properly. And they're
Yeah.
very confusing. And all of a sudden you go out and you don't see a car there. And you're like, oh no, what just happened? Is my car stolen? Or, and then you realize that you've got to pay to get it out of the pound, the car pound.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it's
no.
an expensive deal.
Oh wow.
And then
Oh
I just always say, oh, that's Spirit again, making
yeah.
me laugh, but it's not funny at
No, no.
that
It's just
moment.
just testing you a little bit.
Always.
Oh, Camille, it has been an absolute pleasure having you
Oh,
with
I'm
us
so
again.
happy. I'm
It's
so
been
happy to be
brilliant.
here, and I'm so
Can't
grateful.
wait to have you on again
Oh, I
because
hope so.
we've,
Yes,
we've
let's
still got a
do
million more stories to go through.
it.
And before we go, I just want to remind all of our audience that tomorrow our warrior queen Kerry is back. She's back interviewing a fellow warrior, our rainbow warrior Caroline. They'll be on at 11 o'clock UK time in the morning. So that will be time zones, 9 p.m. my time tomorrow.
Oh, that'll be super. I could watch it.
Yeah,
Tune
that'll be
in. I
perfect.
hope I'm free.
I hope so too. I'll be trying to get on, even though, as Adam likes to remind me, it's past my bedtime. And yeah, and Adams also says you're welcome anytime, Camille. You
Oh,
can come
thank
on.
you, Adam.
And
And Kerry.
Melissa said, "Thanks so much, Steve and Camille. Great conversation." And
Good.
then, and she said, just a last comment there. She's gone, "Oh my God, I remember driving in peak hour traffic in Manhattan, getting lost and going in the wrong direction of traffic in a sea of yellow cabs."
Oh, my Lord. That's a scary thought. I can envision that because there are lots of yellow cabs.
Yeah.
Imagine going in the wrong direction. It can happen. Oh my gosh.
See, there's another thing for you and Melissa who've got in common to talk about. She
In
knows what
common.
Manhattan's like.
Yes, a commonality. Does she know her
Um,
left from her right and north and south? Because I don't.
I reckon she does. I reckon she can look after you there. Camille, it's been an absolute pleasure. You keep manifesting happiness for us because you're absolutely amazing human. And we'll definitely book in another time to have you on again because it's everybody loves it. I love it. You love it. It's just a love fest.
I'm grateful.
We'll definitely bring you back.
I have such fun. I'm always a little tiny bit nervous with butterflies in my belly, in my tummy at first. but then I just feel at home. You're a very wonderful fellow to have as an interviewer.
Ah, thank you. You were my, I think, my first or second interview I've ever did in my life.
Oh my gosh! Well,
the
you're a
first
natural.
time, yeah, and it's been a pleasure ever since. I absolutely love it. So you're definitely coming back, and hopefully a couple more times before the book launch, and then we'll have a very special book launch show as well, I reckon.
Oh my gosh, that would be so exciting.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow, that I didn't manifest, but that'll be super. Thank you.
Done. Anything you forget to manifest, I've got covered. It's all right. Well, thank you so much again, Camille, and thanks for everyone that's been watching and commenting and all the people that tune in on the replay. Absolutely so much gratitude for everyone that takes the time out of their day to watch and listen to us. We really, really appreciate it. And if anyone else would like to come on the show and have a chat to me, then feel free to reach out and get in touch. I'd love to have you on and hear a story, because it's always a magical space. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Camille.
Thank you.
And we will see you all soon.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.